Good morning, everybody. We have a mixed trade in the grain markets here on Wednesday morning. It is 6:30 a.m. Central Time to start off a new month here. December corn futures down 4.25 at 5:30. November soybeans down 6 at 12.86.5. December Chicago wheat up 1.25 at 7.23.5. December Kansas City wheat up 1 at 7.13. December spring wheat up 5.5 cents at 9.09. If you guys are listening on the podcast, as always, really appreciate it, guys. Leave me a rating, leave me a review if you have not already. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you're watching this stuff consistently and you are not subscribed, please do so. It will help this channel to grow. It will help me to continue doing this. Like these videos, guys. It'll help YouTube to spread this stuff out. If you need some additional assistance from me, go to my website. It is www.standardgrain.com. Go to that website, click on Grain Marketing Plan here in the upper right-hand corner. For $49 a month, I've got a really nice subscription service that includes a ton of information. You sign up for this deal, I'll send you my morning email. It goes out every business day at 6:30 a.m. Central Time. You'll be on my text message list. You get about 2 text messages per day. My subscriber-only videos are very, very popular. There's a new video sent out every day, and each day I'll tackle a different topic from, cash grain marketing to capture and carry to technical updates to specific news items, all sorts of different stuff that is tackled in these subscriber-only videos every single day. This is a monthly service. It can be canceled at absolutely any time. If you decide you don't like it, you can cancel it. There will be no questions asked. And as I've said before, I will not try to sell you anything else. This is a standalone product, so certainly give this deal a shot, guys. Figured I'd do something slightly different here today because we don't have a ton of fresh headlines. I'm going to start off with some charts. And the corn market and the soybean market both are kind of in they're at key technical junctures here. We're down to some key chart support, and I'm going to show this to you. If you're listening on the podcast, I will explain this the best that I can. Here's the December corn chart. And you've got this kind of like wedge pattern in place here. You've got an uptrend line that comes off the March low through the July low, and we're sitting right around that area here this morning. We kind of broke out below it yesterday, but now we're back up, and I would say that we're still in the midst of kind of holding this technical area. We had a low at 529 back in mid-August, and we're still above that level. So I would say I would make the argument that this is a key technical juncture for the corn market. We're at a key support level, and I would probably still make the argument that it's held so far. We've been able to, or yesterday at least, we were able to close off of the lows. We'll see if we can hold this again here today. And the reason I think this is important, guys, and the reason why a lot of these things on the charts are important is because everybody's watching these areas on the charts. There's a lot of people who have charts that are set up just like this, this wedge pattern that's been in place. It's very obvious, and when everybody's watching an area, it makes that area important. Now, charting, of course, is subjective. Anybody can draw, their own different sort of conclusion by looking at a chart, but this is a very simplistic view of what's going on here in December corn, and I tend to keep my charting extremely simplistic. Here's November soybeans, and you've got something very, very similar going on here. You've got this kind of wedge pattern in place. It began really in March, you can make the argument, and we're right down against this support area here in the low 1280s. So if you're a bull in this soybean market, you would very much like to avoid a close below, say, this 1283, 1282 neighborhood today. If you were to break out below that area, you may go down and test that 1240 area, which is where November soybeans bottomed back in June. So I would say make the argument that in both the December corn and November soybean contracts, you are at an area of key technical support here, and we'd like to see that hold, of course. Now, the month of September, when it comes to row crop markets, guys, it's historically not a good month. The seasonals are pretty bad for September, especially during the second half of the month. Seasonals don't always work. We know that from last year, of course, but there's a lot of times some seasonal pressure during the month of September, especially the second half of September. To get into some of the headlines here, concerns regarding hurricane damage at grain facilities continues. The one Cargill terminal at Reserve, Louisiana, has significant damage. It's responsible for a sizable amount of corn exports in particular, and there is no timetable there for reopening. ADM said it would reopen 4 elevators in New Orleans that were shut over the weekend. Bunge dealing with some similar issues. Power outages are going to be a big issue, and some of these power outages could last 2 to 4 weeks, according to some of the things I've read here this morning. So this is a problem perhaps for shipments. It's a deal that could have an impact on basis levels, maybe flat price. maybe carry in the market, and we've seen some more carry develop in these markets. I'm going to talk about that here in a second, but certainly an issue to monitor here. Russian wheat production estimates are declining again. Well-followed group Sova Econ pegged the crop at 75.4 million, down from 76.2 previously. They've had poorer than expected spring wheat yields, and that's the reason for the decline here. They're still above where USDA is at. USDA is down to 72.5. They made a big cut last month, so I guess this is not a big surprise by any means. We were going to start seeing some additional U.S. crop estimates. We've got another USDA report next Friday. That's the 10th, and that's your monthly crop production and WASDE report. I saw one out yesterday. Dr. Michael Cordonier, he's a well-followed crop scout. He's got his corn yield estimate unchanged at 175.5, but you're going to see crop estimates from every private group out there here over the course of the next week and a half or so. More rain is slated for the Western Corn Belt and U.S. Plains this week. Let's look at a couple weather maps here real quickly. Here's the last 72 hours in terms of precipitation. Western Iowa did pretty well. Some of eastern Nebraska, some of southeast South Dakota. There was some more scattered type stuff in Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio caught some of these hurricane-type rains. But over the next 7 days, you're going to see these rains here. They're going to move into the Dakotas, I believe, on Thursday. Dakotas, Nebraska, Kansas, and then work their way into Minnesota, Missouri, Iowa, and Western Illinois by Friday. And then the thing kind of breaks up, and you're not going to see nearly as much for the Eastern Corn Belt, Eastern Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. I'd say most people would consider these to be like, finishing rains. These are not rains that are necessarily going to add a ton of corn or soybean bushels anywhere, I don't think, but probably helpful nonetheless. So I was talking about carries in the new crop corn and soybean markets. And both of those markets have added some additional carry here. So just to give you a couple examples, the November 21 to May 22 soybean spread trades about an 18-cent carry this morning. That spread traded a 61-cent inverse back in May. The Dece 21 to May 22 corn spread trades a 13-cent carry this morning after trading about even back in May. Spreads typically do widen into harvest. They will typically post some sort of bottoming action in the spreads right around the same time that flat price bottoms, around October 1st on average seasonally. I think that these issues at the Gulf with the hurricane could result in wider spreads. But in any case, you may actually get a chance to capture some carry in these new crop corn and soybean markets at what I would call historically favorable levels sometime soon, sometime in the next few weeks. So keep an eye out for that. Subscribers, you have all of our roll target levels in your inbox here this morning. So certainly take a look at that. Cattle market finished lower yesterday. Fat cattle were down more than $1 in your nearby contracts. The August fat cattle off the board now as of yesterday. Feeder cattle were down as well. Not really much else there in terms of news. The box beef market was down marginally yesterday. In the outside markets, the U.S. dollar is about flat. The S&P's up 15. The Dow's up 100. The bonds are down. Gold and silver down just a little bit. Crude oil is up 22 cents in the October WTI at 68.73. Everybody have a wonderful day today. I will talk to you same time tomorrow.